Boy up, it's D&D in the building. Purdue power, no ceiling. Yeah. Double D back, that's Derek and Dalton. Talking gold blood, Mackey been molten. Black and gold dreams, banners we folding. Paint crew loud, every rim gets swollen. Stats so clean, you think it's a scheme. History books get Purdue screen. From humble to E-Day, legends on replay. We run through March like it's just another weekday. Double the energy, talking that legacy. Boiler boys cooking, no recipe. Microphone magic, rivalry static. We breaking it down, keep it cinematic. You want the heat, better tune in fast.
Welcome back to the Double D Podcast. My name is Derek. As always, this is my co-host Dalton, gearing up for his YMCA Hockey League game coming up soon. We do have something to discuss that nobody really wants to talk about, and that is Purdue's second straight loss, falling to Illinois at home, 88-82, in a game in which we saw one of the most historic performances ever inside of Mackey Arena, and it was not by a Purdue player. It was by a freshman who was not ranked in the top 250 in his incoming class. So, lot to discuss here. This probably will be a little bit more of a big picture type of recap. I'm assuming, obviously Braden Smith had an excellent game and we'll get into that. But outside of that, I think a lot of people's expectations of this Purdue team have kind of been tempered here recently, and rightfully so. It's been ugly. It looks like our defense couldn't stop anyone, and even though I don't think our defense was even necessarily a horrible game plan, it's just the fact that we don't have the personnel to be able to slow a team like this down. It's not the game plan. I mean, your goal here was to not let everybody else beat you, and you didn't do that until the very, very last seconds when you finally tried something different. And everybody that was screaming, and I was one of them, for us to run a different defense, to stop Wagler. Well, you saw what happened in the last 2 minutes when you did that. You get wide open threes to their bigs. There's just no way around it. Purdue does not have the personnel to match up against a team like this. And then worst of all, even when we did get stops, we couldn't get rebounds. So what were your thoughts on this game? Overall thoughts. And, again, I don't think Purdue played a bad game. I think that Wagler was unbelievable and we couldn't get stops. I mean, we led by 10 points with a minute left in the first half. That ended up 4 points. And then we were up 5 with 4 minutes left in this game and ended up losing by 6. So clearly Purdue's problem of not being able to close things out continues to be an issue.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree on the defensive game plan. I tweeted here just recently, Purdue's last 5 opponents' 3-point shooting percentages: Penn State, 44%, Iowa, 48%, USC, the one anomaly in the last 5 games, 15%, UCLA, 45%, Illinois, 47%, 44, 48, 15 is weird, 45 and 47.
So like you said, you disagree, but what do you do differently? I mean, how do you stop allowing threes when we just don't have the personnel to defend one-on-one? Everything is a switch. Everything is a help. We're constantly in rotations. We never can stay with our man. There's not a single player, CJ Cox included, who can keep a guy in front of him or get through a screen. It feels like every screen has to be switched. We can't just fight through a screen and play real defense.
Yeah, that's my problem with it, is you don't have to do any of that. You play straight up, you stick to your man, and if you get beat, that's on you. Then you ride pine and we'll find who can go out there and play tough defense. It's been a problem all year. Yeah, we won a lot in non-con, but 5 games with teams shooting over 40% from 3, that's a glaring issue. And like you said, it may be the personnel, whatever. We ran a 2 big set most of yesterday, and we were out-rebounded 19-33. So I'm not okay with saying it's a personnel issue. It's like you ran a 2 big set. What do you run a 2 big set for? Rebounding? Mostly?
I think though the rebounding problem isn't the size, it's that all they did was pull our bigs out, and then nobody's there to rebound.
Bingo.
But
You
what
know
do?
what?
You can't not pull your bigs out against a team like this.
You can't switch everything.
Well, that's
That-
that's a whole nother can of worms.
That's where I'm at. Stop with the switching. Get over a screen. Fight through a screen. You know, we've seen defenses from Purdue in the past do that, fight over screens. And I don't understand why we're on this full-on switch mode. Because Wagler went off yesterday, and I mean that is what it is. But I don't know, if you're gonna let one person beat you, then let one person beat you, but you can't let everyone beat you. And that's kind of where we went.
Well, I think the one person beating us thing almost worked until it's ridiculous to me that we went the whole game guarding a certain way. And then when it really mattered in the final 2 minutes, we completely switched and said, all right, we're going to let everybody else beat us now. We're not going to let Wagler do it anymore. He only has 46 points. Let's change it now.
Right.
And then what happens? They hit like 3 straight threes on wide open wide open pick and pops because we decide we're going to switch everything, and they're just rotating. It's becoming I say it's a personnel issue because you watch teams, if we're going to play that defense, you watch teams that do that and do it effectively. They have a bunch of 6'4" to 6'8" guys with athleticism that can guard all positions. Purdue doesn't have that. We have a cone out there in Fletcher Lawyer most of the time. We have Braden, who's always playing some weird version of cheating help defense. We have CJ, and then we have TKR and Clough, who neither one are good defenders on the perimeter at all. So how are you going to switch and continue to let a guy like Wagler get TKR, Lawyer, and Clough on them over and over and over? And you can say he made tough shots, and maybe he did, but to me, it wasn't tough for him. Those were one-on-one against a big, cross, step back 3. That's easy. That's what he does all the time. That's who he is. Like, that's a hard shot for 99.9% of people, but not for him. That's what he wants.
That's what confuses me is I can understand Illinois shooting 47% from 3. They're built for that. They're built to shoot threes. My problem is when it becomes a pattern and you let teams like Penn State shoot 44%, Iowa 48%. They're not that good of teams. Like UCLA shot 45% from 3. UCLA is dog water. Like we won a couple of those, but it's a glaring issue in the face of what this team's goal was, which I am having a hard time viewing this team right now as a legit contender. There's no fight in them. There's no dog in them. We scored 82 yesterday. I mean, it was a good offensive game. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about yesterday's offense. And Painter did bench Lawyer because he was essentially a cone, like we've been talking about. But I do have a problem with the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And for me, this was a game where I thought Jacobson was giving them all kinds of problems. He plays 10 minutes. And I think it's all because of this switching thing. And I'm sorry, we had Edey for 3 or 4 years of playing a lot, and all we ran was a deep drop. If you're gonna my thing is, if we just gave up 18 made threes, okay, why are we high hedging? Why are we going high on anything? If you're gonna give up 38 3-point attempts, just run a deep drop. That's my confusion with this season. Purdue continues to play this different style than they always have, where they're not just playing a deep drop and letting teams, and then the guy that's getting screened or whatever just goes over. Instead, we're running this switching, as if we have 5 athletes out there that can positionally play 1 to 5, which we don't. And it's let's just go to the drop. We're giving up a shitload of threes anyway. Who cares? Play a drop and rebound everything. That's what we did with Edey.
Right. Don't pull out the bigs. And having TKR and Clough out there is it's not great.
Slow-footed. 2 slow-footed guys.
Yeah, I mean, they belong inside. And I honestly, at this point, even offensively, I think it hurts us because we're not looking for the post feed. Like, we're not feeding the post like we did when we had Edie. And if you're going to have two bigs playing, you got to at least get touches. I mean, I'm not asking for a shot every time like Edie used to take. I'm not asking for 30 shots out of those guys, but good things happen, and we've seen it a lot when the post is fed. You get those, you allow Jack or CJ shooters like that to reposition. And then if they don't double, we're going straight to the hole. And we've seen that time and time again. It's like, I don't understand why we just run we're doing the weave sets that we saw like a year ago, like where we just weave it around the top for 15 seconds and then panic with a team that, everyone expects to make a Final Four. Is at least in our fan base, everyone is expecting us to make a Final Four. So
Yeah, my concern, my big concern here is everything that I was told about this team, promised about this team, everything that the seniors said about why they came back, what the plan was, all this stuff. It just kind of feels like bullshit at this point. Like, I'm not seeing the level of fight and the level of energy and the level of want that I would expect from three guys that are in their final season, three guys that have lost to a 16 seed and then followed it up with a run to the national title game. We're getting smoked in the final 4 minutes of every half. Like, there is no senior leadership. Like, we were up 5 with 4 minutes left of this game. We were up 6 with 2 minutes left against UCLA. Both of those games, we had double-digit leads in the first half that we squandered. Like, there is no killer instinct. There is no, like, urgency with this team. It's like everything is like, laissez da, we'll figure it out. No, like, that's shit. You came back and you guys said you wanted a 1 seed. You said you wanted to win a national title, win a Big Ten title, and I don't see any of that. Like, and I'm sorry for people that don't like this kind of negativity, but like at some point, you gotta call a spade a spade. Fletcher Lawyer and Trey Kaufman-Renn have been gone for a month and a half. Gone. Braden Smith is the only thing keeping this team afloat. And shout out to Braden Smith for being that guy, because the guy gets injured. He's already injured, then rolls an ankle, still pumps out 27 points and 12 assists with 1 turnover. Like, thank God we have Braden Smith, because everybody else on this team that I expected, those other seniors outside of Clough, and again, this is 2 bad games in a row for Clough, in my opinion. It's as if they just are like, well, we'll wait till March. And well, you can wait till March and you could end up a 4 seed. And now you got to play a 1 seed just to make the Elite 8. So you call it what you want. You also got to play a 5 seed, and those are never easy to play. It's just one of those situations where I'm so sick and tired of hearing about getting it right at the right time or being patient or the sky's not falling. Like, I get all that. I know that Purdue's going to make the tournament. They're going to have a shot. Okay, that's the way it is. But we are not setting ourselves up in a good spot to be able to make a deep run. Like, that's all built through the regular season. Like, being a 1 seed is important because it sets you up with the most advantageous situation. You're not going to play a team who's actually closer to home than you in that first 3 rounds. Like, there's a lot of good that goes into it. And to have a Fletcher Lawyer no-show again, in where he's benched for 15 minutes to finish the game. Like, this guy is a senior who has played tons of basketball with this. Like, you can't figure it the hell out that you're getting outplayed by a freshman who for most of this season hasn't looked that great, to be honest. I mean, good job Omer in this game. Goes 4 for 8, 3 for 6 from 3, 11 points, 2 assists. Like, played a good game, but he's -8. Like, the reason we need Fletch in the game is not just to score it, but you have to be competent. Like, you can't go out there and be just a complete zero on both ends and be the leader on the floor. Like, great, we'd love to have you out there as a leader on the floor, but you got to contribute on one end or the other, preferably both. And it was really frustrating in this game because for so much of this game, Purdue was in control. And in the first half, they got to a 10-point lead, and it felt like we're going to pull away. We're going to be up 10 or 12 at half. We're going to stretch it out. They're going to fight back. It'll get to like 6 or 8, but they'll never get close enough. And then next thing you know, it's a 4-point lead at half. And then we're tied 2-3 minutes into the second half. And it's like, okay, well, here we are. Now we're in a dogfight against a team who's hot as shit from three and has a guy having the game of his life, maybe one of the best games ever for a freshman in the Big Ten. Like, the Purdue put themselves there. You had a 10-point lead with a minute left. All you have to do is keep it there or extend it a little bit more in that last minute. And instead, you give up 2 wide open threes. You can't do anything on the offensive end. It's just getting real frustrating watching a team who, at their ceiling, you can just tell is so elite, but they play to their ceiling like 5% of the time. And most of the time, they're playing more to their floor than they're playing closer to their floor than their ceiling. And that's what's frustrating. And sorry about the little rant there, but I'm just getting real sick and tired of defending Lawyer. For 3 years, I doubted him, and I promised I wouldn't do it this year. But my God, man, like, you got to show up. Like, it's not time to say, when's this going to end anymore? It's time to say this ends, or like you stop playing. Like, because we have guys on the bench, Benter, Meyer, Jakari, even, that whether or not they're like the leader on the floor, they actually contribute in one way or another, and they are actually trying. They want to be there, and they're not just throwing up junk. Like, Fletcher's getting wide open shot after wide open shot and just bricking them, and doing nothing on defense. So sorry about that. I'll let you go on your.
No,
rant.
I'm good, man. I agree with everything you said. It's like, and then after every game we lose, we really got to step up as leaders. Like, okay, when is that? Every post game presser. Well, we just got to be better leaders out on the floor. Like, okay, could we try that? Like, could we do that? I don't know, man. What stood out to me in this game was Mr. Jakari Harris is coming out of a slump, and he has that freaking dog in him. And we see that, dude. I catch glimmers of it all the time, and I'm a huge Jakari fan. Like, I would put him, close to Clough on my list of favorite players on this team because they fight when things aren't going right. And yeah, I really liked what I saw from the bench yesterday. They had some dog in them, and I don't see that from the starter. Trey just wants to cry the whole game. Oh man, where's the call? Like, dude, play the game. Play the game. You're a 5th-year senior. You want to know what NBA coaches are saying about you, Trey? The exact same thing I'm saying right now. You're not always going to get the call. They're not going to see everything, and you can't lose your temper out there. You can't throw somebody on the ground because you're mad. Can't throw a little fit like a baby, dude. Stop doing commercials and get in the gym or get in the psychology lab and figure out why you're a crybaby. That's my advice to TKR. No more of this bullshit. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing from him. Put somebody else up on the podium. Put DJ, put Omer, put them up there. Braden's killing it, and I'm sure his back hurts right now. Really bad. And his ankle, obviously.
And his knee.
And his knee. That's when somebody has to go that hard, that's when things like that happen. Because he's carrying 2 crybaby, lazy people that don't want to put in the work and don't want to have that killer mentality that he has. If everyone showed up with the killer mentality that Braden carries every game, we wouldn't lose another game this year.
Yeah, that's where my problem lies. Like,
I'm sick of it.
Your leader,
yeah,
your All-American point guard is giving the effort. Why is nobody doing it? Like, and I'm not saying nobody. I'm saying your other 2 stars. Because to me in this game, like, I'm not on the Jakari level of you. I thought he had a pretty quiet game. I thought he was good from what you mentioned in an effort standpoint defensively. But 2 points, no rebounds, no assists. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot, but what I was confused with, I guess, a little bit was like Trey Kaufman-Renn's running down the floor screaming at Mirkovic, like talking his shit. But bro, you got outplayed by a guy who can't speak English and who isn't very good. Like, he had Mirkovic has 12 and 8. He draws 3 fouls, has 2 assists. Trey has 12 and 2. The leading rebounder on our team had 4 rebounds. You know who else had 4 rebounds? Benham Rickhouse. They had 4 guys with 4 more rebounds. We have 1 guy with 4 rebounds. To me, that's crazy. Jacobson plays 10 minutes. He's a +8. Like, did nobody, am I crazy? Did no one else see in his minutes that he got 2 lobs thrown to him? He was dominating them. Was he good in pick and roll? No. Is anyone on Purdue good in pick and roll? No. Like, but what he was rebounding. He got blocked, but to me, I don't care. Like, put the guy in that's like, when he's in, the team is doing better. Braden played 37 minutes and is a +2, which means in the 3 minutes Braden wasn't on the floor, we were a minus what? We lost by 6, -8 in those 3 minutes. Just 3 single minutes. Nobody can get it together. Oscar Clough's a -14, CJ's a -12. Like, it was as if, and you know what the worst part, the CJ and Jakari thing kind of makes sense to me, because the problem was, or CJ and Oscar, CJ and Oscar being the highest negatives on the team. Well, guess what? Every time down the court, Oscar was guarding Keaton Wagler because those two couldn't figure out how to navigate a pick. Like, for some reason, CJ's going, yeah, you go ahead and take him. If I'm CJ, I'm after about, I don't know, the first 16 points of the game being Keaton Wagler, I'm going to go, hey, Oscar, we're not switching anymore. Like, I'll get through the screen. Don't stay with your man. I'll get him. If he scores, it's on me. But there's none of that out there. There's no leadership like that. There was times in the second half you saw Braden do it and say, I'm taking him. And guess what? He had to get rid of the ball because somebody actually stayed on him for more than 10 seconds. That was my big issue with this whole game. And we can call it coaching. And I'm definitely down to blame the coaches some, because I thought some of the level of adjustments was not high enough, and the speed in which they adjusted was too slow. But in the end, this comes down to, like, I'm sure the game plan was smart. Like, I know the coaching staff, the players aren't executing. And Painter has talked about that now 2 post games in a row. Like, we can do whatever we want, drawing it up, scouting. The players have to do the execution side of it. And if they're not executing, and if they're not staying with their man, and they're allowing things to happen, and we're caught in rotation constantly because nobody can keep the ball in front of them, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, the biggest problem with the coaching staff is that we didn't go in the portal and get anyone athletic. Anyone that could play defense, like, against an athletic 4 or a stretch 4. Like, we just don't have it. Liam Murphy was the 4 that we got. Like, sorry, that ain't your athletic 4 that you need.
We will
and this
never know.
felt like a game would have been nice to have a Cam Heidi and a Miles Colvin, believe it or not.
I'll take Colvin. You really stretching my limits saying Cam Heidi.
Just the size and athleticism would have.
I get it, but Jesus, dude. Mr. I'm scared of every shot. Cam Heidi, or Mr. takes every shot, Miles Colvin. I'll take Colvin over that, and I think Colvin would have been a great piece to have on this team, but he's
or Antoine West.
Yeah, he's one. They're, guys like them are all about me, not about the we. And we thought we had the guys that are we, and we're seeing that. I don't know.
No,
man.
we have guys that are we if their shots are falling. The second their shots start, like Painter talks about this a lot, like, your game can't be determined by whether a shot goes in. Well, that's how Purdue, outside of Braden, just mainly TKR and Lawyer, that's how they're playing.
Mhm.
If the ball's not going in the basket, they can become completely useless.
Yeah, they're not. The effort plays, bro. We've talked about it how many times on here. It's like 19 rebounds for a whole game.
Yeah, they had 13 offensive, the other team.
That's what I'm saying.
On 43s.
Yeah, 20 missed threes and 9 missed twos by them. So 29 potential defensive rebounds. And
so almost 50%.
We end up with 16. That's on missed shots. So not even counting the makes. And if we had played better defense, how many more would have been?
On their 29 misses, they got 13 of them. We only got 16.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Like, do the same thing with Purdue. Purdue had 25 misses in this game. We got 16 of those. They got, 9?
Yeah.
I don't know. We only had 3 offensive rebounds, I can tell you that much. So if we had 25 misses, they got 22 out of the 25. We got
Right.
3. Think
Yep.
about that difference.
Effort play. And I'm
We
not
got
saying you get all of them, but
How did we get 3 offensive rebounds?
right. Yeah, that's
3.
I don't know, man. There's a lot to be learned.
Now,
There's a
let's
lot
jump into
to,
the stats real quick. We'll hit a couple guys.
yeah.
Give me a second here. I'm pulling this up.
One thing I thought that was hilarious, Andrei Stoyankovich, their by far worst player yesterday, did the go night that Braden did.
Oh, I saw that.
I think that is hilarious. What a freaking bum. What a
I
bum,
did see
dude.
that. Let's hit Illinois real quick. Obviously, Keaton Wagler. We'll speak a little on him. I don't want to be disrespectful to a guy who did what he did. I mean, scores 46 points on 17 shots. That's outrageous. 9 for 11 from 3. Insane. 11 for 13 from the line. Draw 7 fouls while committing 1, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. I mean, one of the greatest single individual performances, not just from a freshman, that I think I've ever seen. Just from a, like, shoot ball goes in basket, like, every time. Like, it felt like he could not miss. Mid-range, 3. The only thing he missed was a couple free throws late, but, I mean, maybe the craziest stat line of his entire night was 0 rebounds, and then I thought, like, what did he have to rebound? Like, the
Yeah.
ball only went in the hoop, and Purdue really shot pretty well too, so what was your thoughts on him and just, like, that incredible shot-making performance? You gotta tip your hat.
Yeah, I do. I tip my hat to him. But when it's shooting practice style defense and you have no pressure on you and you can breathe freely and you get it going early, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, and obviously everyone should stop paying attention to 24/7 or on 3 rankings for high
Yeah.
school players. Another one. Uh, I would hit the sound clip, but I don't have it ready. Another one that they completely just bombed. It's all about the hype in high school. It doesn't matter. We've seen what Braden Smith's capable of. Another one is Mr. Keaton Wagler. You know, he's just slapped him in the face yesterday. He had a better day than the people that they're saying are going, 1, 2, 3, by far, and against a better team. Well, maybe that's a stretch, but he had it against Purdue. So at Mackey, with the crowd, a really hard thing to do. And I'm very impressed with this kid. And I'm glad we only have to see him this year. That is a fact.
Big fact. Did you see the other guys that went off yesterday?
Yeah,
Freshmen?
yeah. Devonta and the kid from Houston.
Yeah, all 3 of them scored 40 plus.
It's a crazy year, man. We
In
got
a year where there's 6th-year players all over the place, NBA players, the freshman class has been one of the best freshman classes that I think I can remember.
It's another logical point that I've heard a lot is a fix to this is let the kids go pro out of high school that want to go pro. Would help a lot with all the issues going on in college basketball. And I tend to agree with that. I think that's pretty logical. I think if you're ready for it, like Kobe was ready. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got these kids, Darren Peterson, look at what they're doing in college. They're just creating havoc in their locker rooms because they don't want to, an NBA career and being number 1 is way more important than playing for a college team that is more of a team style game.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think I hated it when they changed it in the first time. Like, why can't a guy, if this isn't football, I get the football one because of, like, body and, like, the pain you go through. But, like, in basketball, I'm sorry, you're telling me LeBron James would have had to go to college? He was the best player in the league the day he stepped on an NBA floor. Like, what are we doing here? Tracy McGrady, like Kobe Bryant, like, you're telling me these guys needed to go to college?
BC.
Yeah, like
BC did go to
he went to North Carolina.
Yeah, I forgot that.
But, like, there's a lot of these, like, stories. I believe, I could be wrong, Carmelo Anthony was one of the first that had to go to college, and then he goes to college, he dominates, and he's gone. Well, now where guys can get paid in college, Like Darren Peterson, for instance. Well, I'm going to go get my $3 million paycheck. I'm going to play only when I want to play, not when the team wants me, not when the coach wants me, but when I want to play. And then I'm going to go to the NBA and I'm going to make even more money. Like, I don't get why they can't,
Brown.
especially like how can NBA guys come to college, but other guys can't go straight to the NBA?
That is crazy.
I did see the commissioner of the NCAA came out and did say something like, basically nobody's following the rules. Like, this is the criteria was if you've ever been drafted or played on an NBA team, you cannot go back. But anyway,
What are
the
they
point
doing?
is there's 5 or 6 freshmen at least this year that could have went straight to the pros. A Wagler wouldn't have because he wasn't ranked high enough, but
Right.
it's still incredible to me that
Yeah.
these guys, that this freshman class is as good as they are. And there's a lot of guys who are like a Wagler who are completely kind of unnoticed in the
Mhm.
freshman class that are just incredible players.
Great find by Mr. Underwood.
Yeah, that
Respect.
top
So,
level. Yeah, out of Kansas too.
yeah.
Wagler was great. Obviously, the Avisich brothers thought Purdue actually did a really good job on them. They didn't get going at all. They did hit a big one down the stretch, but they combined for 11 points, 10 rebounds. Tomislav did have quite a few rebounds, and then Big Z had 2 blocks, but wasn't like, I think that if you told me that these guys had this game and Stojakovic had 5 points and 3 turnovers, I would have said Purdue won this by 20. Now, if you would have then said, but what if I told you Keaton Wagler had 46, I would say, holy shit, I have no clue what happened in that game. Did we win? Did we lose? Did we win by 20, lose by 20? Did the game even end? Type of thing. So, yeah, those guys were great. Mirkovic was solid, plus 14 in his minutes, too. They only played 7 guys, but Jake Davis and Ben Hamrickhouse did exactly what they do. They both made 2 threes. They battled in there. They were hype guys. Anything to stand out to you on this team? I thought it was interesting that their bench all were negative in the plus minus and their starters were positive, which just tells me their starters completely outplayed our bench, or our starters, I mean, and our bench outplayed their bench. This seems to continue to happen. Like, our starters are being outplayed. Our bench comes in and builds a lead. Starters come back, lead falls, team loses. I don't know. What do you see? What did you see? Anything else from their guys?
You're making too much sense. First off, stop, or the NCAA FBI will probably find you and tear your face off, or we'll lose subscribers if you keep making this much sense. But what I saw from them was a great team game. I mean, it obviously helps when a kid goes for 46 and it makes everyone hype, but to come into Mackey and do what they did, we've seen it from Iowa State this year, and I think it speaks more to Purdue. I think it speaks a lot more to Purdue than it does to Illinois. We know what this team's going to do. They're big. They're not physical. They want to shoot threes. And guess what? They came in and they did.
Big physical shot threes.
Yeah, they didn't play physical one bit, and they shot threes, and they outscored us. That's their goal. I mean, they're in Alabama, like, as far as 3-point shooting and wanting to play, find the best 3-point shot they can. They did it, and they put BTA. I can't say much else, man. Just a great game by them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, kind of crazy because we shot a better percentage from the field. Still lost this game just because of the 3-point line. Let's jump to Purdue. We'll hit through these. We hit a lot on a couple guys, so we'll keep those ones short. One of those being Trey, 12 points, 6 for 8 from the field, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. I didn't think it was as terrible of a game maybe as we made it sound from an efficiency standpoint. That being said, the Trey Kaufman rebounds is gone. Like, let's get past that. Haven't seen it in a month maybe. I don't really have a problem with his shot selection. I thought he actually had a couple good ones where he got to the rim. I just need that more, and I think Purdue has to start getting it inside quicker. Like, we wait until, like, the only time these guys are getting post touches is 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Like, they need to get the ball immediately and then let them go to work, and if they can't find something, then they distribute. But Kaufman-Renn now, this is back-to-back games where he's had 8 total assists and no turnovers. So maybe trust him a little bit in that situation. Now I need him to rebound and shoot free throws. 0 free throws, 2 rebounds. Why are you even on the floor? Like, you're supposed to be a physical 5th-year All-American level 4-man, and you're just not showing it. What were your thoughts on Trey? Anything positive you can take from this?
Yeah, I liked his scoring, his shot selection. Like you said, they're getting the ball late and they got to make quick choices. And then when that double drops, a little bit late, that puts you in a bind, man. But I was a fan of the shot selection. A lot of people were saying Trey's back. Maybe his scoring. But to draw 0 fouls, which obviously the crew, I don't know, man. Don't want to get into the officiating, but it was not the best. Obviously, we had high knees there, so you're not going to get those calls sometimes. You got to play through it, and they don't do that. They shut down.
Yep.
2 offensive rebounds from a 6'9", 250 muscle house. I don't know where he is when the ball goes up or what he's doing, but he is not putting bodies on people. And who cares if the other team goes over your back? That's a foul on them.
Right.
Put your ass in somebody, and that no homo, but put your ass on somebody. Move them around. It's like John Burris, the coach of McConaughey, the great John Burris once told me, put your ass on him and move him into the bleachers.
Yeah.
Don't stop till you're there. Clear out space for other people. You may not get the board, but that guy, he's not getting it either. And that's something I believe in. And I don't see it with this, -1 from an All-American, quote unquote. Show me something. Your commercials are, I love that you're getting all these deals because you're going to need them right now with the way you're playing. You will go nowhere near the NBA, Trey.
Yeah. It's funny you brought up Mr. Burris, but my son is on a 10 to 12 grade team, and we run a drill at practice that I ran when I played high school basketball. That is, you're at the free throw line, somebody shoots a free throw, you're blocking somebody out, and you can't get the ball until it touches the ground. Right. So you have to block out enough. Now the defense, the guy trying to rebound that you're blocking out can get it whenever he wants.
Yep.
You got to block out so good that ball hits the ground and you still can go get it. And there's 2 of you, so both of you have to do your job.
Right.
Purdue's not doing that. One of the craziest things in this game is, I get we're in bad rotations. I get all this stuff. I know that they're a big team. That being said, like, it just didn't appear like we knew how to track a ball. Like when a shot goes up, like a Braden type of player, especially, but like our bigs didn't know how to track where the rebound potentially was going to go. We were always in the wrong spot. And Trey was one of those, and he should know by now. He's been there long enough. All right, let's jump to your guy, Oscar Clough. Thought it was just kind of a ho-hum boring game for him. He was a -14, so obviously was getting cooked on the pick and roll, or the pick and pop and any sort of ball screen action, but does go 4 for 5 in this game. Of course, he has a 168 offensive rating. He's always going to have a crazy one. Does get 4 rebounds, 3 offensive, are only 3 offensive rebounds, and a lot of those were late. So was happy to at least see somebody giving any effort trying to get a rebound on the offensive end. Does draw 3 fouls, 2 assists, no turnovers, 9 points. Like I said, I thought it was a perfectly good game for him. He just was completely a liability in this game defensively. And 90% of the NCAA teams aren't set up to be able to do this to him. But this is one of the maybe 5 teams in the country that absolutely can destroy our bigs from a defensive standpoint. What were your thoughts on Oscar in this game?
Yeah, I liked what I saw from Oscar offensively. Did his thing, was getting big buckets down low, was fighting. It was an Oscar game. It's just frustrating to have one big just putting in all the work down low. And I know Oscar will continue to fight for this team. I think, he's a great mental attitude guy, and he may end up being one of our leaders when it's all said and done.
Yeah, his post-game presser after was kind of telling of maybe how the locker room was after this game, because he was pretty rough. Did not seem happy, was pretty upset. Didn't want to answer anything. Nobody did. It was 3 guys out there, and it was a 3-minute press conference. Like, they were giving nothing. I expect just a little foreshadowing to see a different Purdue team moving forward. And if I don't, then all of my hope has dwindled drastically as far as what this team can be, but it's still there. It might go away entirely if we go lose at IU, because that's not a game. I don't care what the record. I don't care if you lost 40 straight or 140 straight. There's like they've beaten you. Like, they've beaten Braden and Trey like they regularly, with worse teams than what Purdue's had. So they better show the fuck up to that game. Sorry about my language. That's all I'll say about that. CJ in this game thought he was fine, missed his threes. When CJ doesn't make threes, I get confused. He's honestly, I think I heard on Boilers and Stands, he's like 28% from 3 in conference play. This is a problem. This is a Fletcher Lawyer also problem. Like, our 2 best shooters cannot be doing this. This applies to you too, CJ. I love everything else you do on the basketball court. You're out there, most importantly on offense, to knock down open threes. You got to do it. They have to go in. 0 for 3 is unacceptable because I know they were good looks. Hit 3 for 4 on 2s though. 3 rebounds, 6 points, but he's a -12. And a lot of that comes down to missing your shots. And like I said, the ball screen action between him and Clough on defense just was the catalyst for, I mean, it was the best player for the Illinois team outside of Wagler, was our defensive game plan against Wagler.
Yeah, I don't have much on CJ, man. Not a lot to say.
That's fine. Let's go to Fletcher real quick, and then we'll get to Braden. Fletcher 1 for 5, 1 for 3 from the 3. We did mention he did not play the final 15 minutes of this game. I don't know in 4 years I've ever seen that Fletcher sits out 15 minutes in a competitive close basketball game. 6 points, did get 3 rebounds. So he basically was second on our team in rebounding, which is just insane. Ends up a -4. To me out there today, this was one exception to Fletcher. Like, normally it's just missing shots and not being good on defense. This felt like maybe he was sick, or like his energy looked low, like compared to what a normal Fletcher game is. Like, I don't normally bash Fletcher for his effort. I bash him because he just doesn't have the ability to be a good defender, and he misses shots. Those are 2 different things than like energy and effort and want to, and it just I didn't feel it very much in this game. Maybe he was demoralized just by every time he was on the floor, he was getting switched on to a guy who couldn't miss. And I think that's a lot of why he came out, because he just offered nothing defensively. But any thoughts on Fletcher? I know we hit on him quite a bit already.
No, I'm good, bro. Honestly,
It's fair.
I'm good.
I do want to just get to Braden and give him our flowers real quick. I mean, the guy has a banged up ankle, a banged up knee, banged up whatever else, his back, like you mentioned earlier. Like, he plays 37 minutes, goes 11 for 16 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 12 assists, draws 3 fouls, scores 27 points, has a steal, only 1 turnover to 12 assists. Like, God, are we lucky we have Braden Smith on this team. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Like, we would be I would say we're 17-3. Again, not a bad record, same record as Illinois actually. But we would be probably 14-13 wins if Braden Smith wasn't playing these last 5 games 6 games at an insane level. We cannot keep just completely depending on this, however. But did want to shout out Braden. I thought he was, if Keaton Wagler didn't score 46 in this game, like, the story would have been how great was Braden Smith.
Right. Yeah, Braden, he's a gangster. I wish 2 of the other starters would take an ounce out of his book of the fight and this sounds, I don't mean that, but like, it's his bravery.
Yeah.
On the floor. Like, and I don't mean anything towards anybody with that. It's like, but his bravery is insane. Like, out on the floor, just looking anybody in the face going downhill, and he'll take you. He's not scared to take a big shot, any shot. And it's pretty sad to me that you, as a friend, as a player that has played with him for 4 straight years, would let him down like this and not show the effort and the fight and the killer that he shows. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. Great job, Braden, though. I mean, keep playing like this, Braden. I hope to God your team catches up with you. And if they don't, I'm all for you, going and telling Fletcher or Trey or whoever it is, hey, why don't you take a fucking seat and we'll let somebody else in this game.
Right.
Like, I think Braden's always said he's not the greatest, like, leader when it comes to, like, the vocal side of things. Well, maybe that's his next evolution. Like, maybe that's what this team needs. Fletcher as the leader of this team vocally isn't working. It's just not.
How do you have a
Maybe
leader that doesn't perform?
Yeah, your leader has to also lead by example. They cannot lead only with words. People say it all the time. You have to be about it, don't talk about it. Like, I can't tell my kids not to do this if that's all they see me do. Like, you have to go be the vocal leader and the on the floor leader. Braden's just got to figure out the vocal side. That's my next evolution of Braden Smith. Just real quick, we'll hit the bench. Jack Benner, I thought, played another good game, drew 2 more charges. Somehow he's figured out the cheat code on drawing charges. Nobody else in the country is allowed to do it, but he can. So congratulations to him on figuring out how to do that. This does hit 1-3. I do need one thing from Jack. I need better than 1 for 4 from 3. They're all wide open. Same with CJ, same with Fletcher. Like, I texted you this at one point. Like, I think maybe we're just not a good shooting team. Like, all the data from previous years and everything we are told says we should be this great shoot. We're just not. Like, I've watched the games. We're not a good shooting team. I'll say this, we get great shots. We don't make great shots. Like, we miss wide open shots that I promise you I could make. It's just one of the most confusing things I've ever watched as a Purdue fan is to watch this team consistently not be good from the 3-point line. People say, oh, they shot 38% in this game. Okay. That's not very good when Omer goes 3 for 6. Who's your worst statistical shooter on this team out now? In conference play, Omer's up to 45%. So maybe it's time we go, all right, Omer's got to start getting more minutes. But here's the problem I run into with this bench. Nobody on this bench is consistently getting it done. Like, one game it's Jack, one game it's Jakari, then it's Daniel, then it's Omer. Like, nobody's emerging to challenge these starters for their legit, like, somebody's got to push him. Maybe Omer becomes that guy. This is a big step in the right direction. He ends up playing, more minutes than Fletcher, but, like, something's got to give. I did like what the bench gave. I thought Omer was exceptionally good in all aspects of this game. I thought Jacobson was great. I thought he deserved to play more like 20 minutes, not 10. Jakari was out there playing great defense. Jack was doing all the Jack Benner things. I have very little to complain about with the bench. I have a lot to complain about with the starters, and we've already went through that. Anything on the bench?
Yeah, talking on threes, not necessarily just the bench. So let's start with Washington. 5 for 15, 33%. Let's go to Penn State. Purdue is 11 for 29 for 37%. Okay, that's all right. That's not horrible. Let's follow that up with Iowa. 6 for 14. 42%, but you're shooting 14 threes and you live and die by the 3. USC, we are 7 of 21, 33% again. UCLA, we are 7 of 27, 25%. So I would stand on what you're saying is.
Well, and didn't you earlier just describe that 4 or 5 of those 5 teams shot 43, 44, 45% against us in our building for the most part?
Yeah, that's and then obviously yesterday, I mean, we don't shoot horribly, 7 of 19, but
36%.
I mean, it feels like our identity is shooting threes now, but we're not good at it. We just like, oh, it's fine, jack up, 4 feet from behind the line, and I find myself feeling that way. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Good look. Okay, well, good looks don't win games, man, or else I would have won every game I ever played in. So,
well, I mean, how long are we going to continue to say, well, they'll start going in?
Yeah.
Before it's like, well, they just aren't.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
Like I can be walking in the desert and swear up and down that I'm eventually going to find a pool, but that pool is not there. Like 33%, I think, is about where we are. So maybe the key to Purdue is to instead of just shoot better, maybe it's shoot less. Maybe it's keep 3-point attempts, because the couple games you mentioned where we were 15 or less, I think maybe that's the key.
Yeah.
Let's not shoot more than 23s in a game because we
That's
aren't good enough.
We won both of those too, so low volume 3-point shooting games, but bench was okay. Nothing to call your mom about. Omer is picking it up, and I'm really happy to see it. He looked decent, but still got thrown into a scenario he shouldn't be in if somebody that's a senior leader could perform. We saw Omer's minutes drastically going down when Fletcher was playing basketball. It shouldn't be. So,
Yeah, I highlighted this thing here at the very bottom because I think it tells a funny story. Purdue was points off turnovers, 20-2. Purdue wins that. Points in the paint, 44-14. Purdue wins that. Fast break points, 14-5. Purdue wins that. Bench points, 22-10. Purdue wins that. Second chance points, 18-2. Illinois wins, and that's the game, in my opinion. It's incredible that you can win all of those categories by that big of a margin. I mean, you win points in the paint, you're plus 30, plus 18 off turnovers, plus 12 from your bench. How do you lose that damn game? Well, you allow a team to make 18 threes against you without adjusting or changing anything you do. So I think we've harped on that enough. We'll be done with that part of it. Yeah, I'm sure if you've watched this far along in this recap that you are tired. You've probably watched other ones. You're probably tired of just hearing all the shit. So I'll leave you, at least from my end, with this. No, the sky isn't falling. But if you look outside, wherever you live, probably right now, something's falling. And it's white, and it's about 10 inches deep. And sorry. And it's not, unless you go out there and you shovel it and you do something, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. Unless you maintain it, unless you do something. You can't just sit around and think, oh, eventually that'll go away. Well, sure.
Right.
Yeah. In 3 months, when summer rolls around, there won't be snow anymore. But for now, you got to go make adjustments. You got to make changes. You got to put salt down. You got to shovel the snow, get your snow blower out, put your boots on. You got to pull your boots up. You got to tie them tight, and you got to go play basketball in a different way, with a different attitude, in a different manner than you have been for the last month. Because if we're all being honest with ourselves, this isn't a 2-game problem. This is a month-long problem where Purdue cannot bury a team. They cannot play in unison. They cannot get everybody going at once. They can't hit open threes. There's a lot of can'ts. But one thing that has gone well from a positive standpoint, you've allowed Braden Smith to get very, very confident. You've allowed guys on the bench to get a lot more confident. Jack Benner's more confident. Omer Myers finally got confidence. And we kind of mentioned it on the last one. Like, the last pieces to fall are your other two seniors to get on the same page. And that's not out of the question. And even if Purdue doesn't win the Big Ten and they're not a 1 seed, 2 seed, if they're a 3 seed, if they get all those guys playing together at any time, I don't think there's a Purdue fan in the country who doesn't think this team can win a national title. The problem is, it's been a long time since we've seen that version of Purdue, to the point to where most of us have given up on the idea that it even still exists. And I know it's still in there somewhere. We've got to figure out how to break open that box, let it out, and take control of the situation rather than being a victim to it, because that's all we felt like we've been for the last month and a half. We're the victim to the referees. We're a victim to the ebbs and flows of the game, to 3-point shooting. We're a victim to everything. Well, being the victim never gets you the victor. Like, you will never be the champion complaining about all the things that went against you. You'll be the champion by overcoming those things. And that's what Purdue has to do. That's what I expect Purdue to do. And when you're done with this, we'll soon have an Indiana preview up, and then Cobra Stats will be on too. So go check those out. And we still appreciate everybody for watching. If you didn't check out Bench Points, we were on their podcast as well. But I don't have much else to say about this game. I'm pretty much over it. I'm ready to move on because this has been the worst sports week of my life.
Well said, man. Yeah, I am running a segment now. It's going to be a short segment. It's brand new, and it is presented by Bubbly. Yeah, Bubbly right here and M&M's. It's called "How Do We Get This Team in Touch with Tony Robbins?" So I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan myself. He's worked with multiple pro athletes, multiple pro teams. He owns pro teams. He's probably one of the smartest psychological people to never have a psychology degree on earth. And I think he's the only thing that can fix this team right now. And um, really, really just want to be able to get them in touch. So
Talking to you, Tony.
Yeah, Tony Robbins, if you're watching, please reach out to Matt Painter.
Pick up the phone, Tony.
We need your help, man. And
Pick up the damn phone, Tony.
That has been our new segment called "How Do We Get Purdue in Touch with Tony Robbins?" presented to you by Bubbly and by M&M's. And have a great day, and thank you for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Like and subscribe. Peace.
Later.